Welcome back, everybody. Now let's take a look at the cryptocurrencies. So you can see that market is stabilizing around the lows. Recently, we've got a big drop down below the 60, but currently market is trying to show some recovery. So you can see on the lower time frames, especially on the daily chart, on the 4 time frame chart, that's market started making some attempt. Besides, actually, we see on other markets, for instance, on the gold, on the euro currency, that all of them, dollar index, by the way, also all of them are coming at relatively strong support areas, where theoretically some stabilization of the price might happen. So just let's see. But for now, it's a bit early to say that Bitcoin is actually showing the clear signs of the reversal. Here's just potentially might be. We even have some minor patterns that already have been formed that we theoretically could try to use, but for definite conclusion that direction is changing, we need to wait for more confirmation. So for now, on the weekly chart, for example, we do not see any big changes. Our market still stands around the lows, previous lows, and that potential, if situation will not change in the nearest time, for a weekly chart, it's probably within a month, or slightly higher, slightly longer. That's probably, we could say definitely that it will be bearish sign. In general, when the market stands close to the lows without any big reversal, sharp reversal, acceleration, it always looks bearish because it could mean that market is building an energy, preparing for another downward challenge. Especially after so strong downside acceleration, here's retracement very small. On the daily chart, the patterns that I'm speaking about is the potential bullish grabbers. So in fact, yesterday we've got one. It already has been confirmed, this one. And another one might be from today if market will close above the lows of this session. These patterns are not strategical, so minimum target of this pattern stands above this top. So it just means at least that market will show more or less deep retracement. So it might be back to the 65 or maybe even higher. That's the targets that stand here. That's the patterns. So we just need to see what's going on in lower time frames to understand what the confirmation of this might be. Some classical patterns in lower time frames. The one thing that's also here is important is that here with this downside drop, market has shown minor wash and rinse of these lows. I will show in the 4 time frame chart. So you could see with this drop down, this low stands slightly below than this one. It's minor wash and rinse. Potentially, if everything stands really bullish, market has to start forming something like maybe double bottom here. Is that the pattern that we need to keep an eye on? And the grabbers that has been formed here probably is becoming the pattern that should trigger the reaction back to the neckline. Because above the 65, it's above this top, it will be very close to the neckline. So that in general, the background that the bulls have to give us to confirm that situation is changing. Correspondingly, currently, these lows that we have here around 59 is becoming vital because if bulls really control the situation and really start forming of the reversal pattern, they should not let market drop the right back down and create the new lows. So they need to use this, especially the grabbers that already have been formed in the daily, at the starting point of the upward action. It means that currently it's relatively simple to deal with this stuff. In fact, the only thing that you would like that you need to do if you want to take the long position, you need just to consider some support areas where you potentially could take the position against these lows. So that lows is becoming the vital point. So the bulls have to stay above them. If they can't do this, it means that market is not bullish, that the bulls are not controlling the situation. It means that Bitcoin will keep going lower. Why I said that we need more confirmation? Just because in the current situation, you do not see the changing of the tendency. So market is still forming the lower lows and lower highs. Yes, we have here some bounce, but it's only potentially might be a reversal based on the grabbers that we've got. For now, it's just minor retracement. In fact, here you easily could recognize a kind of the bearish Gartley's triple to sell pattern that is forming. If our situation will not go further, it's just this pattern and market start dropping back below the lows, it means that this was actually fake alarm and situation hasn't changed. That's actually what we have. As a bottom line, as a conclusion, yes, we have bullish patterns. Could be traded. Could they be traded? Yes, they could be traded. But you should recognize the overall background that everything now is based on these particular lows. So if you'd like to try and take the long position, you could use the grabbers, you could use for some retracement against these lows, and that will be actually a very good signal. So until market holds these lows, bulls have the chance to succeed and form something larger, maybe this double bottom or something like this. That's actually off now. For the bears, the situation is opposite. Since you have the grabbers, you have to wait when it will be work out. This will happen about this top, so around 65.50, or you need to wait when they will fail. Other words speaking, if market will drop below the same lows. In this case, the bearish context, at least in the short term, will be reestablished. So that in two words what we have here on the Bitcoin.